What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, Jeff Marconette Jr., the international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, I am so pumped up about tonight, and I can't get this to go live on Facebook, so I'm sorry, Facebook. But this is but so I am very excited about tonight, and I know I am all the time, but it's pretty cool. I mean, life has been going pretty darn well, and I still can't get it to go live on Facebook. Hold on, I gotta figure something out here because I want my Facebook friends to be watching me. Oh no, still didn't get it. No. Gosh. What's up, man?
Oh man, everything's well. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic, but I cannot get this to go live on Facebook. I don't know why. It kind of stinks. Um,
Okay.
yeah. It's just telling me an error occurred on Facebook. So, who knows?
Okay.
So, if you would like to go ahead and tell everybody a little about yourself, tell everybody your name, where you're from, and what you do, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. So my name is Maurice. My friends call me Soul, or I also go by Coach Soul. And I am a holistic health coach. So my main focuses or specialties revolve around mind mastery, meditation, and basically centering yourself. Um, and what we do, we've helped over 600 people and families thus far and growing as the years go by. We means Ufulu Child. My business that I co-founded with my wife is called Ufulu Child, UFULUCHILD. And I can get you, the handles and how people can connect with Ufulu Child after the show. But basically with Ufulu Child, we've been together since 2016. At first, we were just a music group, but then after we helped Mama Peaches with her journey to remission from cancer, from a cancer scare, which she's been cancer free since 2017, we had an awakening. Yes, yes, indeed. And we said, we have to help counteract all of the misinformation out there in regard to our health, general wellness, when it's necessary to get serious about your health and take responsibility for your life. All of that, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So we made it a point to start focusing on that part of our journey.
That is pretty cool. So, you obviously enjoy helping other people, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And you talked a little bit about holistic. Can you explain holistic for the people that don't really understand it?
Absolutely. Well, holistic means you're not focused on one thing. So let's say we have someone who's dealing with a chronic illness of some kind, right? Type 2 diabetes or something, just dealing with something that they want to, in their mind, they want to get rid of this thing and then get back to their life. Meaning they don't want to deal with the root cause. Let's say if the root cause is their lifestyle and diet, they don't want to get rid of the root cause. They just want to get rid of the symptom. They don't necessarily want to learn about preventive measures. They want to just get rid of this symptom and then worry about something else if it shows up in their life, and not prevent it, beforehand by habit forming, things like that. So a holistic approach would be someone who comes in once they're educated as to what the common factors are that lead to, and what the common root causes are that lead to their illness, or their discomfort, or their inability or low ability to focus and concentrate, whatever it is. Once we educate them on how that usually happens within the human mind, human body, human brain, then they take steps to change everything in their life that could contribute to that, for the betterment of themselves and the betterment of those around them. Because when you're suffering, those that you care for and those that care for you also share a little bit in that suffering. So
Yeah.
holistic means you're looking at every piece of the puzzle, not just the symptom.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So I happen to know from personal experience, because I was in a severe car accident at the age of 17. I spent 2.5 months in a coma and 3.5 in the hospital. I had to relearn to walk. I had to relearn to talk, to eat, to drink, even to breathe on my own again. And that was a lot of hard work. But after 22 plus years of recovery, which I still continue, and I will be at physical therapy again tomorrow, and I know that life doesn't always turn out as planned. Oftentimes we have a wrench that is thrown into our life, and we experience things that we have to grow through in order to get through them. Now, I say grow through because I think that there are lessons that we have to learn from that experience in order to get past that experience. So, has there been anything that Coach Soul has had to grow through in his life?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you asked that, and I'm glad that you framed it the way that you did, because grow through is definitely the, I would say, the empowering attitude towards when life um, gets very heavy for you, which it will, right? That's a part of being here, and I like to call it 3D land, right? And what I had to go through, well, one of many, okay, but probably the most significant in my growth journey, was a bout with depression that evolved into suicidal depression. Um, Basically, I was faced with failure after failure after failure in a bunch of different aspects of my life. The business that we built together being one of them, but not the only one. And I won't get into some of the personal ones, but the big picture is that the failures and the disempowering mindset and the mental habits that I had built up to that point led to me wanting to quit the game of life, and me feeling very ungrateful for life itself. And so I had to grow through that by developing a couple of different things. Do you want me to just kind of go into it, or you want to ask some questions from there?
Well, I first want to go off on a little rant here, because there's something you said that I don't really agree with. Now, it's semantics, I understand, but I think it is a limiting belief in your mind. And
Okay.
that's calling something a failure. when you're going through something and you do not succeed, I don't believe that is a failure. I believe that is failing. A failure is when you quit. So if you would have committed suicide when you had these idealations or whatever
Yeah.
idealations, I don't know.
It's all right.
That's a
Yeah.
tricky word, but that I believe would have been a failure. But you didn't, and you kept growing from those things, and you, while you might have failed at them, you took something from them and put them forward. So I don't believe that you actually failed at anything.
Word. And I appreciate that. That's definitely more accurate in terms of the big picture. And when
Well,
I
I'm not trying
mentioned,
to become more accurate than you. That wasn't my goal. I just wanted to tell you the way I thought.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And when I was explaining what it was explaining how it felt then. So back then, before I know what I know
Oh,
now,
all
what it
right.
felt
Yeah.
like
Okay. I see
leading
what you're
to, yeah,
saying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to develop myself in certain ways after the climax of that story, where there was um, a moment where I don't know how much is too much information, but basically where I was about to end it all right then on a specific day, and then
Nothing is
chose
too much
not.
information. If you want to be vulnerable, go for it.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't want to be, I don't know, triggering, you could say, to an audience, but uh yeah, where I was aiming a specific tool at my heart under my shirt, and then I basically heard a thought within my mind, my mental landscape, that said, just give it one more day. And I took that as a sign to not quit, as you say, Jeff, and to grow through it, right? So what I had developed afterwards were various mind mastery techniques that helped me not only begin to deal with the underlying root causes that led to the conclusion that, oh, I should just quit, I should just kill myself, but also led to a connection with other people that may have been going through similar, albeit probably less severe, um, experiences like my own. Right. So I developed things within myself that I was able to impart to other people and help them when I was either coaching them or just talking with them as friends or family members, or even, just meeting them and then eventually developing an online community and telling my story, as well as sharing the techniques and the methods that I've used and still use to this day to never go back there. And I do consider myself someone who has beat suicidal depression. It'll never come back, even though it definitely was to a, a clinical level. The chemistry, the hormones, the things, they were all there for the ending it all, and I beat it.
Good job. First of all, let me say that I am super proud of you for that, because a lot of people don't even try. I feel that a lot of people give up in that circumstance, and that while I don't like that, and I feel that is uncomfortable to talk about, that is something I think that needs to be talked about. And I respect you for battling through and winning on the other side. So to me, That's just amazing.
Thank you,
So
Jeff. I
if
appreciate that.
if you would,
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I had a thought come to mind of one of the main tools that I use to this day. So I guess I'll go ahead and share one of the things that I ended up developing is the idea of an A side and a B side to all negative emotional experiences. And within this idea, there are three major categories of negative emotional experiences that I put different perspective to. One of them is anger, frustration, and impatience. Another one is sadness, guilt, and shame. And another one is it's like leaving my head. Let me deal with the first two though. Anger, frustration, and impatience. The A side, it'll probably come to me by the time I get to the third one, but the A side is that they kind of block your progress, right? They'll blind you from your opportunities. And like, for instance, a lot of people that talk about getting into fights and getting really angry, they'll say, I see red and I black out. Well, that means you can't see, right? Or if you're really angry and you're driving, you may miss your turn. You may, you cannot see when you're completely lost in anger, frustration, and impatience. That's the A side. And that is true if you get lost in it. But there's a B side to anger, frustration, and impatience, which is that it would make the win worth it if you grow through it. So if you get angry and you use a technique or a breathing or whatever you use, just a reminder, and you are able to calm down just enough to push through it and either get the win or get through the experience, then it makes it all worth it. Because once it's over, you can release your shoulders, take a nice big sigh of relief, and smile. So that's the B side of anger, frustration, and impatience. Same thing with sadness, guilt, and shame. Sadness, guilt, and shame are very heavy, right? They're the slowest vibrations in terms of the emotional frequency, the aura that you give off when you're in sadness, guilt, and shame. They're the heaviest and the slowest wavelength. Hopefully people can understand what I mean there. And that's the A side is that they weigh you down, they slow you down. The B side is that they give the fight purpose. They give the struggle purpose. They give purpose and meaning to what you're going through. So that, again, if you grow through it, if you make it to the other side, if you achieve the achievement, then you can sigh a big sigh of relief and know that there was purpose to what you were doing, not only for yourself, but again, it touches everyone that's around you. And then there's a third category of negative experiences that are just not coming to mind, which is funny.
That's all right. So I'm curious, like when you were going through these ideations or ideations, but when you were going through the ideations, what was your escape from those?
What I experienced was a very slow build where I was making it okay slowly to think more and more and more that way. Where it started out where it would be a silly idea that crossed my mind that I didn't really pay attention to and that I dismissed. But if it crossed my mind at the right time where I was feeling very angry, frustrated, impatient, sad, fearful, that's what it was. Fear, guilt, fear, worry, and doubt. That was the other one. Anyway, the timing of those ideations, they would appear when they would appear at the same time that I was lost in negativity, then I would entertain them a little bit more. And what happened was the frequency of those thoughts appearing started aligning more and more with the frequency of the negative experiences. You follow?
Yeah.
And so when they aligned, then, after not about 2 years or so of when it started to when it got really bad, um, then I was in it for a while. And then I, had to weigh this option that I created for myself, which wasn't really an option. It's just an escape, a bad cope, if you will. This option that I gave myself, I had to start I chose to start weighing it against who I was going to hurt if I went through with it, what it was going to mean if I went through with it, what might happen afterwards, even though I won't be here to influence it after, I did it. And after about another 2 years, so about 4 years of actual, suicidal ideations, um, you know, things got pretty bad in my perception for me, and I decided I was gonna just go through with it, and to hell with who I was gonna hurt. I'm the one that's hurting. Blah blah blah. Selfish thoughts. And then one day, like I said, I almost went through with it, and on that day, in that moment, you could say a few seconds before, in the parallel universe, I did it. My subconscious, something drummed up a tiny, very quiet, yet very clear thought bubble in my head that said, why not just take it one more day? Why not just allow one more day to come to pass before you make your final decision? But when that happened, it wasn't really about one more day, linear time, one more 24-hour period. I instantaneously, luckily and fortunately, understood that that was a calling to actually make a different decision. So I had made a decision to go through with it. I'm really not a wishy-washy kind of personality. If I make a decision to do something, I do it just by my nature and how I grew up, how my upbringing was, all of that. But I decided that this was a sign to make a different decision and to make a better decision. And I was just fortunate enough to make the better choice, to be the bigger person, and to make the better choice for myself and others.
Yeah.
And then, so walking back home, I actually left the home, and I was just, I went to a park, and that's where I was going to do it. So walking back home, I was actually picked up, and because they saw I left my cell phone at the house, and I just left, and so they picked me up, and I explained things, and there was tears, and there was a whole thing, but it was a reassuring moment that, yeah, I made the right choice. And that started the journey of, okay, so what am I going to do about this? Because now it's become a habit to entertain this line of thinking. And it's become an attachment for me, even a form of relief for me to have these sort of ideas of, well, what if I just quit? I won't be in pain anymore. And, these sort of things. And I started to develop, I guess, intuitively, or you could even say divinely inspired, ways to come back to gratitude and ways to rewire the thought pattern. Meaning, when the train of thought started going in a certain direction, I built tracks in my mind to make it do a U-turn into the right direction.
Yeah. And I want to point out here real quick that Adam, who is under all sports fan Adam, in the comments said, "Hey Jeff and Soul," and he said that Ben Bruce sends his love, and Ben Bruce is a fan of the show who watches on Facebook, so he's not able to see it right now, but it won't go live on Facebook. Don't know why, but oh well.
It's all right. It can be
So
posted most likely.
yeah. So you talked a little bit about meditation, and you and I had spoken a little bit about a program that you have or something like that. Could you tell me or tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So meditation in and of itself is, first of all, it's a practice, not a medicine. I would consider journaling more so like a medicine, something you can take and feel better, something you can do and immediately get some results. Whereas meditation is a practice that evolves you as a person. But just like, from birth to adulthood, you're evolving. Your evolution is in the background, it's not in the foreground. And so, what I see that comment. Hello, everyone. What's up, Ben Bruce? Um, so meditation in and of itself, something that I have been blessed to help coach many people with, is what I've used to upgrade the software within my mental landscape, to upgrade the foundation and to upgrade the pathways, the neural pathways in my mind and physical brain. Whereas journaling, something that I pair with meditation in my program, is the medicine that you take to feel better, as well as the habit that you form that will support your meditation journey. Say all that to lead into this short summary. Basically, what I do is I will take an individual or take a small group of people. Let's say if I go to a small business and I work with them once a week, show up on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. or something like that. I go in and we will do 4 things. I will give them some information that builds on whatever information I've already given them. Let's say last week or the week before, whatever. I give them a little bit deeper look into the mind, into mind mastery, into a meditative journey, into the art of positivity, stuff like that. Then we will do an activity that involves journaling. Then we will meditate together, and then we will have an open discussion / a Q&A for me. And that goes whether I'm doing it virtually, like on a Zoom call, or if I go on site, or if they come to me to meet with me for their session. And it's definitely something that I would encourage anyone who's out there, who's looking for someone who can help them navigate muddy waters in their mind as well as in their heart, as well as maybe in their spirit, and don't really know much about spirituality, don't even really have an interest in spirituality, but know that they should take a holistic approach to solving the issues that are a burden on their mind and heart. Get yourself a coach. Get yourself somebody like me. Get yourself somebody. Sorry, I see some of the comments. Get yourself somebody that knows, first of all, the real truth about these modalities and about how to use them, and give yourself time to readjust to the you that you were meant to be, basically. Because just as self-empowerment is a real thing, self-disempowerment is a very real thing. And a lot of us are locked into self-disempowerment, thinking that both of them aren't real. And so, so to empower yourself, you have to know your habits of self-disempowerment, recognize them, and rid them from yourself.
Yeah. Now, we do have a question from Adam. He says, Coach Soul, your experiences are powerful and gives us hope. Thank you on behalf of the human race at staying strong in such strenuous circumstances. I'd like to know if you have any tips for focusing on a good mindset, only on a good mindset.
Yes, I do. I happen to have tips on that. First of all, listening back to the beginning of this, podcast episode where I explained the difference between the A side and the B side to negative experiences, right? You're feeling the A side of fear, worry, and doubt, which is something that blocks your progress. It'll make you freeze, the fight, flight, and freeze response. Fear, doubt, worry, they make you freeze up like a deer in headlights. The B side is that it makes the win worth it. And so if you take that information and you apply it to whatever you're fearful of, then you're able to move forward with fear and not move backward away from fear. If you're going through something that's making you angry, frustrated, or impatient, knowing that being lost in anger, frustration, and impatience will blind you from your opportunities, apply that to whatever is making you angry to calm yourself down enough to see your opportunities on how to get through, knowing that once you are through it or once the experience is over, you can release your shoulders and let out a nice big sigh of relief. And then with sadness, guilt, and shame that weigh you down, the A side is they're very heavy. The B side to sadness, guilt, and shame is that they give purpose and meaning to what you're going through. So whether you're going through it because of something that only involves you and you have to evolve yourself, or you're going through it to help protect somebody else or to help support somebody else, or a combination of the two, it'll help you apply the meaning and purpose, meaning connect with your why of what you're going through, what you've been through, in a very profound way that you won't forget. And it'll actually make you look back on whatever's making you feel sad and ashamed and guilty with gratitude once it's over and once you've gotten over that hump. The last thing I will say as a tip for focusing on a positive mindset is don't rush to things like forgiveness. Don't rush to gratitude. Don't rush to happiness. Know that they are there and they are available possibilities, but there may be some things that you have to learn through and grow through before you get there. And so don't think that you're failing at the happiness game because you can't automatically on command make yourself or will yourself happy or will yourself grateful, right? You have the option of learning how to get there purposefully and in a way that leaves a lasting impact. And that's what a coach is for, right? That's when it starts to get into individuality and how people and personalities are different, as well as hormones, all of that. But yeah, hopefully those are some useful tips for you guys.
Yeah, those are some fantastic tips. And I know these guys will hopefully, well, I am hopeful they will put them into practice, because that's something that the guest last week and I talked about, people taking little nuggets from people, but they have to put them into practice, and a lot of people don't put them into practice, and it's a whole it's messed up. But
It takes time.
I have to ask, do you have any contact information you would like to give out?
Yes, and I wish that I used the headline thing correctly. So coming on here, I was about a minute and a half late because life happens in certain ways. Sometimes my internet went kaput and then reset right around 5:58 when I tried to log in the first time.
Yeah.
And so I skipped by the headline. And then when I got on and I saw you put your website right there, I was like, that's what that was for. Anyway, so I'm going to say it slowly so that people can go ahead and try to connect with me. Again, my business, the name of the business that my wife and I run is called Ufulu Child. That's UFULU Child. And our website is ufuluchild.com, UFULUchild.com. I also have my program, which has its own website, which is Meditation of the Heart. So meditationoftheheart.com. And my handle on TikTok is Meditation OTH, all lowercase, just Meditation OTH. short for of the heart. And you can get in contact with me that way. There's also meditationoftheheart.com/works, WORKS, for if you have a small business, or even if you have a large business and you would like me to come in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and lead a meditation and journaling session and give you some information and some useful tips for how to be more productive at work, for how to apply the philosophy to the workday and remain in a positive attitude so that you're more productive throughout the day. meditationoftheheart.com/works. Other than that, you can get in contact with me either through Fulu Child or Meditation of the Heart, or Meditation OTH on TikTok.
Meditation of OTH of the Heart on TikTok. All right. That sounds very cool. I definitely appreciate that. But guys out there and girls, any of the so-called sexes or whatever you want to say these days, I need you guys all to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when those seconds will run out on your one life. Thanks again, Coach Soul. I appreciate your time, and have a great night, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, don't forget to make every second count. Thank you.